Okay, so welcome back to another video of us talking heavy metal, and today joining us is the Jackson Kelly Warrior again. Okay, so this video, what I want to do is kind of go into how you can play the same thing but it can sound completely different. And what I see a lot on YouTube, particularly in the guitar and audio kind of sphere that we're all looking at, hence why you might be here, is there's this obsession with tone. In tone gear, in pedals, in plugins and all the rest of it. And what I'll say is that whilst I've got my tone here, I've got in the Fender Tone Master Pro, which I'll pull up now. So this is all played, this is the same three notes, okay, the same three notes played, and this is the amp I'm using here, is the Fender Tone Master Pro and this Diesel VH3 amp. Okay, so what I've done is just played this same three note combination, so it's... Okay, that's all I'm playing, and the first way I played it was this. Okay, and the second way was this. Third one was this. And the last one was a tremolo picking. It's just three notes, and the important bit about this is that you see a lot of people coming up with really good riffs. I don't think they get to fully realise how heavy they might be, because when you add the drums, as you can hear on my thing here, and you add the harmony guitars, it can really add a lot of weight to what can be quite a basic riff. And what I see is a lot of people playing heavy metal guitar, and they're playing it and they're really not doing it justice by hitting the guitar, the strings hard enough. So the same phrase again, like that. It's just, I would be going hitting it a lot harder with the picking hand or the palm mutes. They do quite weak palm mutes instead of going really. If I was to play that softer, and play it harder, the same sort of thing when we go up and down the notes. It's obvious which one was probably going to sound heavier. So of those four, so the first one again being the second one being that is my favourite, followed by the tremolo pick in there. So I've deliberately kept the same drum pattern, the same bass and everything for this. So what I would likely do is on that tremolo picking, have the kick drum going and following it through. Okay, again, so back to the main theme of this video. So the tone, okay, we hear a lot of people talking about tone, okay. So again, I've just got the same guitar and the same preset on my Tone Master Pro here. And there's an awful lot of noise around the Axe effects, the new Helix Stadium, the Tone Master Pro, the Neural DSP, Quad Cortex, all the rest of it. And I think it's a lot of noise and it's a distraction. I mean, when I first picked up my first guitar and amp, I think I had a Marshall something 10 effects or something, some tiny little thing with a little 10-inch speaker in it, and to me that felt like the world. That was everything, like this little speaker thing. And I didn't play it a particular way, hunting down tones and all the rest of it. There was a bass, a treble, there was the bass, middle and treble. There probably wasn't even a presence, and that was it. And with all these options we've got now, people are constantly talking about deep diving into the amp. Let's pull this interface up. So deep diving into all the bits and bobs in here, whereas I haven't really done much. You see the amp itself is pretty much thereabouts around the middle range, and amps should be designed, namely are I think nowadays, that the control in the middle is where it sounds the best in the range. So you shouldn't really have to do too much tweaking. So whether you like my tone or not is obviously subjective, but the point I'm trying to make is you can spend all day on these really complex riffs, and you see a lot of people that are absolute whizzes on the guitar. So if I had an idea for a riff, for example, what I would immediately do is try and put some palm muting into that. Adding some meat to it, like otherwise you might as well be an acoustic guitar. So going. Again, so not too pleasing, and it is really important that you play these riffs the right way. Again, for me in particular, having that bottom string, you'll see a lot of people doing the power chord thing, and it just sounds weak, doesn't it? You can play that anyway, so like open string stuff like this, you hear them go. I would personally play that 10 times harder. Add some bends to it, but I'd also maybe want to put in some palm muting again. I don't know, something, but there would be something other than just back in the day when we first pick up the guitar and we do open chord, playing a nice little rhythm like a. But if you want to turn that metal, you'd probably go. Yeah, you get what I mean? So you're not just going to play those, just chug along, expect it to sound heavy. So there's a lot of people that are much better at guitar than me, clearly. But the reality is, it's a lot simpler. It's down to how you play, and it's not that the picking is the tones in the hands and all that nonsense. But although it is, it's more about the attack. So if you feed in a weak signal, and you go versus. So even if you get like back to my riff at the start, we had the if we do the normal open picking thing there. For me, that was the weakest of the 4 versions. So if I was to do what I like, it was the second one. So if you wanted to make that heavier still, you'd probably add in some embellishment. You see, the idea is it's more than just spending an hour hunting your tone down. And so for me, I suppose I wanted to spend a moment just to talk about this, because there's an endless amount of content creators and people that make products, you know, they're vendors, talking about tone and gear and stuff. But unless you're one of those massively influential people, most of us sat in our bedrooms are expecting that the tone equipment will make the difference. When in reality, you need a strong right hand, and you need to be pressing hard on the strings to get the attack out. So you can hear the end of that note, the way it blooms out. If I was to do that weaker, or loosely off the palm muting, back to normal chord. Back to the basic way. Okay, so hopefully I've made the point there that just with these 4 little examples, if I go back to my main riff again, let me take the backing tracks off, so the harmony guitar, so you can just hear the main riff itself. Let's do that. Favourite one. Least favourite. This is how most people play from what I see. Again, the same combo, so it's 0, 1, 3. I suppose you can go 3, 4, 6 or something. Same sort of thing, but you know, it really is important that you play in the way that's going to sound heavy. Don't expect any miracles with regards to tone. If you play it weak, it will sound weak, and the power is in your hands. You've really just got to play it like you mean it, particularly for heavy metal. It's one of those genres that, because it is about aggression, you just got to get in there. So I've not got picked. So even acoustically in the room, that's kind of how loud I play. versus some people you might see playing. So acoustically, I'll leave this in on top of my microphone speaking. If I just talk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how hard I pick. You know, just wanted to give everyone a bit of hope there and a bit of an insight into, you know, don't necessarily rewrite the things, and you could come up with a chord sequence again like the. So if I was to just go, in fact, let's go back to our basic one. You can turn that metal again, you might have an idea in your head either. Don't give up just because you've got the chord and you don't know where to go next. It isn't in the tone, it's not in the amp, and it's not in the pedals, it's how you play it. Okay, so just get used to listening to bands that you like the sound of and figure out what they do. Maybe watch a few videos, maybe I'm not for copying other people's material. I didn't learn too much of many bands when I started playing. I suppose I did a bit of Metallica and a bit of Lamb of God and Killswitch Engage and stuff like that. But beyond that, I just started making my own music very early because I found my own sound. But you know, hopefully this has been of use. And you know, not meaning to preach or anything, but you know, don't waste your money on gear. Just play it like you mean it.